Hello everybody, and welcome to another race taking place in Week 2 of the ALTTPR League Season 2. Week 2 is Ambrosia settings, so a little bit different from Week 1. Looks like on the plate today we've got DieselMartini representing the long shots going up against Flipheal representing 16-bit nerds. Both teams managed to go 0-2 in Week 1, so they'll be looking to pick up their first win of the season with this race. We'll see who comes out on top. Runners are on a 10-minute delay, so they should get started any minute now. Ambrosia settings are a standard setting, so they will be going through escape. You can see from their initial start screen that they do start out with swords, and they will get a boots hit from Uncle at the very beginning, so we'll want to look out for that so that we get a clue into where the boots are. Apart from that, the dungeon bosses also have a non-dungeon item on them, so the routing for the dungeons will be slightly different than regular open seeds that we saw in Week 1. We've already seen some pretty exciting matches this week, so let's see how this one turns out. This is definitely not like one of those lopsided races. I think both runners are probably pretty evenly matched. So I think I'm going to hope for a good back and forth between these two runners here. DieselMartini picking up the Celeste sprite from Final Fantasy VI. Flipheal doing the Piranha Plant sprite from Super Mario World, and it looks like our boots hint today is that they are in the Dark World as our runners take off. Pretty much the runners will be looking to see if they can farm some bombs, so they'll be trying to utilize their knowledge of the prize packs to see whether that's a possibility in today's seed. DieselMartini got caught up a little bit on that bush, dropping it down into Uncle. I think he might have forgotten that the sword, even though you start with the sword, it's actually unavailable to you until you talk to Uncle. So you do have to pick up that bush. Looks like the guards are dropping. The first drop is a heart, so there is a 50-50 chance that we may be able to farm some bombs from them. We're looking for a fairy as the next drop, as opposed to another heart. Looks like that was another heart that DieselMartini found, so there won't be any bombs dropping from the guards or the rats today. Flipheal still hasn't gotten one of those 50-50 drops, so he's still looking. Yeah, guards or snakes can't have the bombs today. If I misspoke, I'm sorry. So far, not much from the escape sequence, just 2 pieces of heart and 20 rupees, and 10 arrows in Link's house, so nothing exciting yet. So Flipheal getting the information that these guards aren't going to drop any bombs. We'll see if he recognizes that piece of information. You can tell how just that little piece of game information on how the prize packs works can give you a little bit of a lead where you don't have to, you can skip trying to farm enemies and gain some time for your opponent has to keep killing things on their way. Very nice ball and chain guard kill there by Flipheal, and they don't have to farm anymore. Princess Zelda conveniently has 3 bombs in her cell. I wonder why she didn't use them to try to break out herself. Alright, runners just making their way out of escape. They'll be looking to try to get a sub 6-minute finish coming out of escape. That's usually the benchmark that most people would try to go for. So we'll see if they meet that. Looks like DieselMartini running about 10 seconds late at this point. Obviously, we'll have more important time losses later on in the seed, but it's always nice to see how things are shaping up early on. Just a green rupee and dark cross. Seed has been pretty empty so far. So I believe the rats are in a prize pack that are small bombs. find the Cane of Samaria in the back of this game. So that's one thing we won't need to be looking for. And there's a bomb trap for the rats. Nice 8 bombs for Flipheal there. You won't have to worry about them going into Kakariko. Alright. So about 6:20, 6:30 for escape. They did have to kill a bunch of enemies along the way looking for bombs. And we'll see where they go from here. Didn't quite catch all of that, but it did look like Eastern was a blue-red pendant, and I think the other two were crystals. Nice 20 rupees from the bush crabs, so we won't really have to worry about money this seed. Ooh, and that's a good find. We're seeing power gloves, or at least a progressive glove upgrade in Lumberjack. Flipheal did elect to skip that check, so we'll have to see how long it takes for him to get there. It cuts off one of our possible avenues of Dark World access, because we know that Boots is in the Dark World, so we can't get those gloves until we pick up those boots. So already Flipheal at a disadvantage here with that information. Probably as soon as DieselMartini gets some AGA access, he'll probably make a beeline for those gloves. Meanwhile, we found Hammer and the red boomerang in Blind's hideout. So at least the seed is starting to pick up at least a little. Alright, and as we check the back of, or I mean, as we check the well over here, finding Quake. And the cape. Flipheal getting around to his map check, so the other two Light World dungeons are just regular crystals. As we finish up our Kakariko checks here. Really only the hammer of note. Alright, we're gonna go back for that lamp. That's gonna complete our AGA access here. We'll see where our runners head next. A little bit about our runners. Neither of them participated in the main tournament, so we don't have that many statistics on them. And they didn't participate in the Challenge Cup either. Looks like they're both relatively new to racing. I think DieselMartini's got maybe around 5 races on SRL, and I think Flipheal's only got the 1. So on paper, at least, looks like it'll be a pretty good matchup. Flipheal has checked the stun prize, and we're getting small magic drops today. Looks like they're going to continue with the very standard routing, doing South Shore. A little bit worrying that they don't have Zora money, so they probably won't be able to chain that together. But it's very standard. Well, okay. Flipheal going to the left, gonna check Nagina. We'll see what Diesel chooses to do. Diesel's choosing to go the standard way over to Mini Molgarn. Could have picked up a few more rupees from the bush crab along the way, but he's gonna pass it up. Flipheal only finding some health both on Desert Ledge and in Agina's cave, so heading that direction, not really paying off. We'll see if he decides to follow Diesel on the South Shore route. Looks like he does. And then we'll pick up the shovel from Mini Moldorm Cave. Diesel looks like he's gonna orphan Ice Rod Cave. We'll see if he maybe just checks out on that fetch quest right away. Flipheal making good use of that Samara block to kill the Mini Moldorm. He's a little bit faster. It's very nice. And he's gonna pick up his fetch quest that Diesel's gonna let us know leads to what mystery item today. ₹20 that Diesel is disgusted with, doesn't even want to pick up. So both runners choosing to orphan Ice Rod Cave. An interesting decision. I mean, I understand that you can't really do much afterwards without Moon Pearl and without Zora money, but it's really far away, and it'll take a long time for them to get back there if they need to. DieselMartini finding the moon pearl in the back of Saha's closet. Might be he's gonna save and quit. Maybe go for Aga. I mean, it's very possible that Boots could just be sitting on Pyramid, and then with that you can just grab your gloves for traditional Dark World access. And it looks like that is where he's headed. So that Lumberjack knowledge definitely coming into play over here. Meanwhile, Flipheal has no idea that there's something important on Lumberjack. I think that's a defensible position to take. I mean, if you know that Boots are in the Dark World, and so whatever's on Lumberjack is probably not going to be important until later on. So not bothering to check it is, you know, totally understandable. But after checking out this Pendant Eastern, he's going to be kind of out of locations to logically check. Unless he wants to go all the way back to Ice Rod. Diesel's getting bodied a little bit by these ball and chain guards. They are kind of tough. Keep in mind that this is Ambrosia settings, so as soon as Flipheal finds 2 items, he'll know that the last one is unobtainable on Armos Knights. Though I did happen to miss what was in the Cannonball chest room, so not even sure how many items we found so far. Looks like the first chest was an item. Chad is telling me it was 3 bombs. So Flipheal's gonna go ahead and get his vanilla big key over here. He's already found the map and the compass. And most likely going to be disappointed by what he says. I think we can safely say that Aga is the play at this point. Diesel is spending quite a bit of time here on the Aga climb. I would say spending a little bit more time than is necessary in some of these rooms, but that's fine. Flipheal bombing this big chest to show his displeasure. But that's fine. You know, usually Aga Tower is a dungeon that most runners are not as comfortable with because you just don't do it as often as the other dungeons. Looks like Flip is going to really want to check out the Lightworld locations before committing to Aga. So he's gonna do a Houlihan here. He needs to jump down into the water. Every time he splashes into the water, his position and the camera position get offset by 1 or 2 pixels. If you do that enough, the game gets confused when you drop down the hole and puts you into this safety room whenever the game doesn't know where to put you, it drops you down into this land room, and he's gonna pick up his 225 rupees here, getting ready for a trip to Zora, looks like. Haven't been counting the blue balls on Diesel's side, but it seems like this fight has already gone on for a while. Now, once he beats Aga, after the pyramid check, he'll have a decision of whether to go to the south to check out Hype Cave, or if he wants to take a look at Pod. Flipheal just finding a piece of heart in Ice Rod Cave, so I believe he is out of logical checks, and he should know that Aga is at least logically required. So if I were Diesel, I would definitely head south towards Hype Cave, looking for those boots that we know are in the Dark World. And looks like that's what he's doing. Meanwhile, Flipheal is going to try to sequence break past Aga. Check out Hobo here, and we'll see how far he takes this. We gotta assume that with that lamp that he's gonna go all the way to Zora. We do find our boots in the Dark World, just as foretold, along with the Bug Net and Fire Rod in Hype Cave. So all very good finds for Diesel. So far, the play of the seed has definitely been to make sure to check out Lumberjack. Flip picking up his Master Sword out of the Waterfall Ferry. Oh, we've got a map check. It looks like Ice Palace and Thieves Town as our 5-6 crystals, with Turtle Rock and Pod being our other pendants. I think Turtle Rock was the green one. So that's it for Flipheal. He has nothing left that he can get even out of logic. He's gonna have to go for Aga's Tower. Meanwhile, Diesel going to absolutely pick up his gloves right away. The quick Bonk Rocks check. And that'll, once he does that, he will have a couple Dark World crystal dungeons open to him in Scones and Thieves Town. Flipheal ringing the doorbell and taking out those ball and chain guards with no problem. The Aga Tower climb is definitely going to be a little bit easier with Massive Sword, but he spent a long time before eventually succumbing to the realization that it's Aga required. These two teams gonna fight off again tomorrow, it looks like, and that race will be between Iker and Tyler Salt. So they'll be looking to capitalize on whatever their teammate did in this race. You can see Flipheal also having a little bit of trouble with that Circle of Pots room, just like Diesel did. Nobody wants to practice Aga Tower. Alright, Diesel's going straight for Mothula, who we know has an item, but Fighter Sword, 6 hearts, this might be a little bit tough. He does have Hammer, we'll see if he breaks that out, and Blue Mail's obviously going to help, at least against the damage that Mothula dishes out. Little tip as you do your Aga fights, generally what you want to try to do is try to hit Aga towards the middle of the arena. It means Aga will spend less time teleporting to his other location. We've got a tough fight for Diesel. Does break out the hammer, but he is taking some hits. It's definitely a tough fight. The hammer hitbox combined with Mothula's hitbox always results in some weird places that you have to stand in order to be able to hit her. Diesel did find that second item in the bridge room, so at least they didn't waste any time with the rest of Skullwoods. Flip having a little bit of indecision here. Looks like he might not be aware that his hammer gets him to the south portion of Dark World. We'll have to see where he's headed right now. Looks like he's just picking up some money in order to pay Kiki the 110. It appears as though he never did check the bush crab, so he's not aware that he could pick up a bunch of money that way. Although, I think that's the first we've seen of that pull. Diesel getting a nice find with the hookshot up in Bumper Cave. Diesel definitely been making the right plays so far. He's gonna go ahead and head over to Village of Outcasts here, probably knock out Thieves Town. Flipheal turning back. Looks like he may have reconsidered his decision to go to Pod. And I think, yeah, with that Dark World boots hint, I think you do want to make sure you check out, at the very least, Hype Cave. That's a lot of... This is a significant percentage of the Dark World location. And he will be rewarded with the boots. We'll see where Flip decides to go after finishing up a dig game. If he decides to go into Pod as opposed to checking Lumberjack, then that could be trouble. Alright. Front of Thieves Town being absolutely devoid of any items. Diesel's found the map, the compass, a small key, and a big key. And he's gonna head on to the back. Flipheal does decide to at least check Bonk Rocks. And we're gonna hope that he gets his glove in short order. And there goes Flipheal. Flipheal probably feeling a little bit behind at this point. I mean, I think it's pretty standard for a runner to check Lumberjack at the very beginning after escape, so he's probably thinking that Diesel's gotten the gloves a while ago, which is true. Meanwhile, Diesel finding powder at the top of Thieves Town in the attic. Looks like a bit of muscle memory on Flipheal's side. He kind of turned towards doing a pedestal check, but without book, it's kind of hard to make out what those Hylian letters are saying. Diesel picking up the bow as well from Thieves Town as his second item. Flipheal's going to make the same play here, it looks like. Going to the back first, going to try to take on Mothula. We'll see if he has any more luck with her, especially with his Master Sword. Setting up for the blind script. Letting it get away just a little bit. Taking blind down. It was started to get a little hairy there at the end, but blind is down with the heart container for Diesel and the second crystal. Oh no, first crystal, because Mothula happened to put the hurt on Diesel. Diesel might be thinking about a rematch here though, he's heading back up north. Very nice fight to get his 20 rupees and his first crystal. Diesel's probably thinking here that he doesn't want to put off Mothula for too long, just in case she's holding something interesting. So with the green potion that he got from the bridge chest, probably feels a little bit more comfortable taking on Flipheal. Did turn away a little bit, but feels like Flip did not get the second item from Skullwoods. Looks like he skipped that bridge chest, and so now he's gonna spend his time checking all these chests in the front of Skullwood, which unfortunately happen to be empty. Alright, round 2 for Diesel. He's gonna need 8 fire rod shots to connect. And those shots need to not hit Mothula into the spikes. Diesel takes out the hammer for that last shot, and Mothula is down for crystal number 2. Chat talking a little bit about the Lumberjack play. I would say for the runners of this caliber, Lumberjack is the default play. It is true that a lot of the top tier runners do put off Lumberjack. It is especially a lot of them like to put it off until they have boots, because Lumberjack doesn't even come into play until you grab the boots. So yes, I would say amongst the top tiers, they kind of want to save that time. Just depends on where you are in the meta. Alright, Flip's got his bottle. Let's see if he continues down south to Thieves Town. Meanwhile, Diesel's heading up Death Mountain, saving the old man. Quite a few checks up here on Death Mountain with that hook shot, and of course you can also knock out another crystal dungeon in Hera. Diesel looks like he's gonna spend the time to pick up this heart container in Spectacle Rock. Maybe a little bit concerned with that death to Mothula, so just getting a little bit extra safety. If you like those Mothula fights that you saw by these two runners, go ahead and give them a follow. They've been working very hard to be able to pull off those kinds of things. Alright, Flip has discovered the emptiness of the front of Newstown. He's gonna head to the back. And meanwhile, we're gonna get a look at Paradox Cave here from Diesel. Nothing in the lower section, which is in the middle of Death Mountain. Take a look at the upper side of Paradox Cave, which is located at the bottom of the mountain. So we find our other bow here. Bo is kind of worrying that we have both Eastern and Pod as pendants. We know there's probably nothing on Eastern. There's only one item left on Armos. But Pod is starting to look a little bit suspicious at this point. Diesel's gonna skip by Paradox and skip by Spiral Cave so that he can do Hera first and then I gotta imagine Once Hera's finished, then he'll go back for Spiral Cave to avoid having to climb up and down the mountain again. Alright, Diesel's not going for the Hera pot today. I don't know if he's practiced it at all yet. He's just gonna head up Hera the normal way. Flipheal pretty much staying on script for a blind fight. Nice job there for his second crystal. Meanwhile, DieselMartini finding the first item of Hera in the compass chest. Taking a fall though. But he's gonna head straight for Moldorm with the last item of the dungeon. Getting thrown around a little bit by Moldorm. Ouch. Gonna have to do the climb and attack the big worm with the weird eyes again. Meanwhile, Flipheal pretty much doing the expected play. They've already cleared out the game to Hype Cave, so going north to check out Bumper Ledge is pretty expected. So he's gonna pick up his hookshot. Diesel is still in the lead, I would say. He's been making the right calls, and Flipheal has been lagging behind. But down goes Moldorm for Diesel's third crystal. And he's out of crystal dungeons to complete, I believe. So he'll have to either go through some overworld checks or make his way over to Pod or Eastern. Flipheal is not gonna follow Diesel up to Death Mountain. Looks like he's gonna try to do Sick Kid and maybe Magic Bat first. So we'll see what those hold. Feel like Death Mountain was a bust today. Diesel did find silvers up there, but I don't remember anything else noteworthy. I kind of like the pod play at this point. The game's given you everything you need for it. I mean, I know most of that stuff was needed just because, just to get the glove anyway. But the bows being hidden behind Hookshot or Thieves Town feels like it's kind of the next place that the game wants you to go. So we shall see. So Flipheal's just about a full light roll Death Mountain clear behind of Diesel. Flip has checked the front of Eastern and done the flippers checks, but that's pretty much the only difference so far between these two runners. Diesel's gonna go for Eastern first, so that'll give Flip a little bit of time. But if Armos Knights is holding something good, then that'll be very bad for Flip. Not exactly sure how Flip is going to route this. Once he does Hera, he will have to make a choice between Spiral Cave and Spectacle Rock. Unless he wants to check Spectacle Rock from a save real quick. So it feels just ever so slightly more inefficient than how Diesel routed it. Although, I guess now thinking about it, it's interesting to note that actually with Diesel's routing, he also had to make a choice between Orphaning Spiral Cave or Spike Cave, which I didn't realize at the time. So Flipheal's going to be setting up using the spin speed strat for this Herapod. See if we can pull it off. After a few tries. Very nice. These two teams competing in the Lake Hylia division. 3 teams will make it out of the division for playoffs, and this appears to be one of the tougher divisions. Longshots going up against the Immortals last week, who were Roach, Duke Firebird, and Hulo Ninja, so they were not able to pull off a win against them. Meanwhile, Flip's team went against the Immortals last week, whereas Diesel's team went up against 2 Pearl, 2 Furious, which is Trinex's team. Trinex, Scary Olive, and Oaks. So definitely some scary teams. Trinex and Hulo Ninja, I want to say they made it at the very least into brackets in the main tournament. Diesel's setting up for the quick kill, but he does have silver, so it's usually a little bit of a different setup. Getting a piece of heart from Armos, so Flipheal's not quite in trouble yet. Although we have not seen what's on Ped yet, even though Flip was thinking about it before. Alright, looks like Flip's going to take another trip up Death Mountain, check out Spectacle Rock, and hopefully Spike Cave as well. You know that on the other side of the screen, Diesel's gonna do that pot play. Yeah, so back to talking about the division. I think, realistically speaking, both of these teams probably not really expecting to make it to playoffs, but it's still important to try to beat up on the other teams in the division, at least the ones that seem to be about your skill level. And they could even act as spoilers for the other teams as well. And that's just the nature of how the divisions shook out. I think both of these teams in some other divisions would have definitely had a good chance to make playoffs, but this particular division is definitely rough. Flipheal going for pod now, so we can see the gap has closed quite a bit, mostly because Diesel also decided to spend some time in Eastern. So we definitely still have a race on our hand. So, big key in the first chest, I believe, right? And an interesting play here would be to go for Helm's Arcane first. I mean, in Ambrosia, it's not quite such a big deal because you can always quit out from the back of pod anyways once you know the last item is on Helm's Arcane. So there's not that much of an advantage, but I think it is still slightly faster. You're right here. Might as well, I mean, this is the closest you'll ever be to Helm's Arcane. Might as well just do it now. DieselMartini finding the mitts in the big key chest of pod. So that's gonna open up some other dungeons to him. Well, does it actually? I guess he can fake Flipper in Die's Palace. So, not really logically getting him into other dungeons. could take those mitts up to Dark Death Mountain, check out Turtle Rock if it happens to be Quake. And Flip grabbing his mitts also. You can see how the time differential between them has shrunk quite a bit. This is an interesting route by Diesel to check out the Dark Maze first. If he has to check more chests, then he's gotta go all the way back out through the Dark Maze. Yep, he's gonna walk back out. I do believe they've found 3 items so far. Meanwhile, on the other side, Flipheal is going to do a hammer jump, which allows him to just go through the Dark Maze one time. He'll be going from the bottom to the top. Getting another key, so Diesel should be able to deduce that there is another item in the Harmless Hell Lab. Well, I guess it's the last chest in the entire dungeon, so he's got to know that. Just a single rupee. Diesel's not going to bother with Helmasaur King. Gonna take those mitts and head elsewhere, it looks like. And that elsewhere looks like Dark Death Mountain. Still on Fighter Sword though, he hasn't picked up the Master Sword from Waterfall Fairy, which is still technically out of logic. But so far doing a good job of just having Fighter Sword. Flipheal's gonna make that same decision to orphan Helmasaur King, and he is going to head possibly to Dark Death Mountain as well. Runners taking very similar routes throughout the entire seed. Really, that only major piece of diversion being that Diesel did check that glove on Lumberjack very early on, whereas Flipheal essentially had the last location in. Flipheal is taking the southern portal in the Dark Death Mountain, so if they are able to open up Turtle Rock with Quake, he's not going to be able to do it without Mirror. Diesel's gonna give us a look at it. It is not Quake. It's Ether for today. So Flipheal's gonna save a little bit of time by going up this route. And you can see he got to the Super Bunny Caves slightly before Diesel. So technically he's sort of in the lead at this point. Very small lead. But he's gonna check out the medallion on Turtle Rock, and that gives Diesel the lead again. Finding flippers and mirror up here, so both runners gonna be very happy about that. Flipheal opening that last chest a little bit before Diesel, so Flip's in the lead again. Alright, I'll stop with that. But those flippers and mirror does put Ice Palace and Swamp into play at this point. they are essentially looking for Flute, and then we will need to know what the Meyer medallion is. Alright, so Diesel's gonna go straight for Swamp Palace. Flip going all the way up here to check Catfish. It's his only check up here because he's done the rest of the checks in this area already. And he's rewarded with Ether. We'll see if that comes into play later on in the scene. Especially if Myra's Ether, or if it does happen that there's something in Turtle Rock needed. At this particular moment, he's probably not feeling so great about that. I mean, he's probably going through worst case scenarios in his head, thinking that, oh, my opponent, maybe they picked up Ether, I mean, they checked Catfish a while ago, and maybe they went into Turtle Rock and found the flute or something up in Turtle Rock, whereas I will not go to Turtle Rock for a long time. So we have another sword in Waterfall Fairy Cave, and Diesel still has that in the back of his mind as something that he needs for go mode. Both runners deciding to go to Swamp Palace from the Pyramid save and quit. Feels like it would be faster to go from Link's house, but maybe these runners know something that I don't. DieselMartini finding the flute in the compass chest of Swamp, so he's in possible go mode, but with only one medallion, the Quake medallion, with Ether being up at Catfish. Diesel having a little trouble picking up that pot. If you do activate hook speed on your way, for example, like when you hook to the statue, you will always be able to pick up that pot on your very first try. But if you didn't, you could just spam that grab button and it will eventually pick it up. So Diesel, understandably, gonna continue checking chests. Of course, he still is hoping for a medallion, just in case he doesn't want to leave one behind here. And he is also looking for a sword, so he does need to keep opening these chests. I want to say there is only one item at large on the left side of Swamp. with a fighter sword. Argus on Diesel's side, always kind of annoying. Flipheal going to pass over on Compass chest at first, so he's going to spend some time checking out left side swamp before getting his flute. And we have the dreaded menu boss on Diesel's side. Doing a good job. Just keeping it nice and safe. It is possible to hook 2 or maybe even 3 puffs before you need to menu, but this is perfectly fine. Finishing Argus off with Silver Arrow to the big eye for 20 rupees and the 4th crystal for Diesel. So I gotta imagine Diesel's gonna take that flute, activate it, and give Myra a check right away. And that'll give us information to know whether we are in go mode or not. Well, he's gonna go for the Ice Rod Cave first. See where he goes afterwards. Flipheal still checking chests in Swamp Palace. These are relatively quick chests and could hold bombos, so it seems fine. Diesel's gonna do Ice Palace first. Probably thinking that, I mean, even if he did have the medallion for Meyer, he still needs to open up chests looking for a sword. I don't know, it feels like if it were me, I would want to do the quick Meyer checks first and have that information of what kind of medallion I need. That way, if I find a sword anywhere, I know whether I should stop looking for things or if I still need to open up chests. So Flipheal grabbing his 4th crystal. He's gotta go to Meyer, right? In his case? Looks like he's gonna just go straight from Swamp Palace and do a K-45 check on the way. Diesel setting up for the Ice Palace bomb jump. Looks like he was a little bit too high on his first attempt. The second one looks really good, and he's got it. Alright, let's see what our survey says. Flipheal is behind by about half an Ice Palace, although Diesel is still looking for a sword here. And the Misery Mire Medallion is Quake for today, so Catfish was unneeded. Diesel and Flipheal. Well, Flipheal in go mode for sure. Diesel still needs to look for that sword. And he's found his sword, so he is in go mode, but he doesn't know it yet because he did not check Mire first, and so it'll be interesting to see what he does. With only one medallion, it's really kind of risky to start skipping checks. I could see him skipping iced tea chest if it comes down to it, since it takes comparatively longer time to get to. So he has found the two items, so he knows that last item is on Cold Stare. Gonna make a break for it. And this is still a very close race here. So on Flipheal's side, he was probably looking at that Mire medallion and hoping that it was Quake, because that Catfish location is pretty out of the way. He's getting slightly bodied by these puffs. He does have a red and a green potion though, so hopefully he'll be okay. Meanwhile, Flip finding the big key in the lobby of Misery Mire. So he's got everything he needs and he's going to go for Vitreous. One thing he could have done was he could have switched that crystal switch back to the other position on his way back. But if he has Spooky set up, then he doesn't need to use his red potion. 2 puffs down, and Cold Stares down on Diesel's side for his 5th crystal. Both runners still need to go through Desert. Flipheal executing Spooky nicely, at least the first room. He's got the second room, and the third room should be pretty easy as well. Meanwhile, Diesel's going to head into ice. Heading out of ice. Going to head to Meyer and get the good news that he's in go mode. Looks like both runners are probably going to be doing Master Sword Silver scan fight, unless they find a sword in GT, or possibly while they're searching for the Desert Palace big key. Alright, Flipheal's got his 5th crystal coming out of Misery Mire just as Diesel's entering. It's gonna be hard to tell who's in the lead until they get down to their last crystals. It's really hard to say. At first I was gonna say that Diesel seems like he's very slightly in the lead, but I don't know at this point. Go mode Ice Palace is pretty fast. Well, this is probably going to come down to some GT routing at this point. Finds the big key of desert, but is still opening another chest. He does pick up the Cane of Perna for his troubles. Not sure if it was worth it, but maybe he'll feel better with that additional safety item. I'm not exactly sure how familiar either of these runners are with Master Sword Ganon, so they may just feel that urge to check some chests just in case they happen to pick up Temper. DieselMartini is heading out after flipping the switch, so he will not have a problem finding his big key. And looks like at this point, Flipheal is going to finish Desert Palace before Diesel finishes Misery Mire, but pretty sure Desert Palace is faster than Ice Palace, so we'll have to see how this shakes out. Diesel grabbing 2 fairies and models, so he's probably not going to have to worry about much on his end for the rest of the seed. Flipheal trying to break out the silvers, but those land modes are not cooperating with him. Looks like Diesel is not setting up for Spooky, so he's gonna take a little bit of extra time getting over to Vitreous. Flipheal has grabbed his 6th crystal. He's gonna be on his way to Ice Palace. this rate, Flipheal is gonna be maybe like halfway through Ice Palace by the time Diesel enters Desert. So my gut feeling is that Flipheal is in the lead right now. Definitely anybody's game. Flipheal is skipping chests in Ice Palace. Almost assuredly not going to find that tempered over on the right side of Ice Palace. So I'm going to enter the front of Desert. I don't know how this works out in general, but for the layout in this case, I think this is going to end up being a little bit slower, not being able to mirror after finding that big key. Very nice IPPJ on Flipheal's side as he heads straight for Cold Stare. Feels like he's going to be reaching Cold Stare about the same time as Diesel's entering the back of Desert, I would say. So definitely shaping up to be an exciting finish. If you like what you're seeing, definitely give these runs. You're doing fantastic. If you think back to it, it's a pretty straightforward seed. I mean, once you got your Dark World access, which hung Flipheal up a little bit, you kind of did all your crystal dungeons, very reasonable. Then you really only had Pod left. I mean, you could do some overworld checks, but who wants to do that? Got your mitts, which opened up a bunch of stuff on Dark Death Mountain, so of course you head up there, and open up Swamp and Ice. Of course, doing Swamp first has the most items. You're pretty much in go mode. Flipheal also drinking his red potion during the Cold Stare fight. Takes him down, no problem, and with his 7th crystal, that means it's time for the GT Big Key guessing game. Put in a number from 1 to 22 as your guess as to where Flipheal will find the big key of Ganon's tower. And if you're right, we will give you a prize. Flipheal deciding to take a stop at the capacity ferry, making sure he stocks up on arrows. And he is headed up to the mountain, or not, he's headed up to pick up some potions first. Meanwhile, Diesel also having similar problems as Flipheal did on the Lanmo fight. But Lanmo's down and Diesel grabs his 7th crystal. And now Flipheal's gotta be on his way up now, right? He's up there at 130.54, let's say. And let's take a look at how far Diesel is back. Diesel getting up there at 131.08, so he's about 14 seconds behind. Similar to the amount that they were apart from each other coming out of Escape after 90 minutes. So Definitely a very close race. It is definitely going to come down to GT routing, gauntlet execution, Ganon fight, all of that good stuff. Diesel getting dead rocked over here, so he's going to be stuck for a little while. I was going to say Flipheal was falling behind a little bit because he still had to hammer the pegs, whereas Diesel had already done that. But those dead rocks definitely going to cost some time. Alright, as soon as Flipheal enters GT, we're going to close that GTP guessing game. Flipheal going for Hope Room first. Finding the big key in the very first chest. If you guessed 1, you won. Guess nobody guessed 1, but we did have Ultros, the purple octopus, guessing 2 and winning 10 points. Congratulations to Ultros. DieselMartini also going for Hope Room first. He's going to be happy to find his big key in the very first chest. Both runners remembering to pick up that pop key on the left side before heading up. That's a good thing. You always want to be carrying one key with you climbing up the tower. Otherwise, you will be praying for a small key in one of those chests up there to save you. Diesel having a little bit of trouble with those mimics. Looks like he's fallen behind to about 30 to 34 seconds behind Flip, at least going through that that big key door. As Flipheal makes his way through this gauntlet. 30 seconds. Still definitely totally possible to make up through execution alone. Master Sword Ganon fight is very technically demanding. Flipheal again missing the one cycle on Landmo, but getting them all on the second cycle. So Flipheal is heading up with one blue potion? I want to say a blue potion and a green potion, whereas Diesel is carrying 2 fairies. I want to say Flipheal has been showing just slightly better execution through the gauntlet. Diesel taking a death here, so using up 1 fairy. Flipheal gonna open these chests up top here. Possibly trying to get a temper. Instead he finds a mushroom. Finds half magic. I suppose that's useful for the Ganon fight. That'll be a good find for Diesel, since he's running low on magic. Although I guess he's just gonna pick out the full magic hiding under the pot. Flipheal checking that last chest in Ganon's tower is not a tempered sword, so he will be heading into the Ganon fight with Master and Silvers. Heading into Aga 2 at 137.41. This looks like a pretty good pattern. Seems like a triple to me. That one not as nice. So a single. And then 2 more hits to finish it off. Aga 2 is down on Flipheal's side. And he's off to fight the big pig. Alright. Phase 1. I'm gonna spin into Ganon 12 times. Avoiding his trident, his homing trident. Flipheal taking a bunch of hits. He's gotta be careful. Already using his blue potion. Meanwhile, Diesel taking a fall to Moldorm too. Flipheal breaking out the cape straps. Definitely helpful to have found that half magic. But he doesn't want to use up all his well, I guess we're thinking he still has that green potion, right? Moldorm 2 being a bully for Diesel, knocking him off again. Meanwhile, Flipheal is on phase 3 of the Ganon fight. Setting up for the torch glitch. Or not, just setting up to spin Ganon. Oh, Flipheal's got a second blue potion, so he was in no danger. DieselMartini entering Aga 2 at 140.48, so just about 3 minutes behind Flip. And you can see how that Ganon's Tower execution really adds up. They were about 30 seconds apart going into the gauntlet, and that lead has stretched out to 3 minutes. But Flipheal wants to make sure he doesn't fall down. And that is the last silver arrow into Ganon for Flipheal. Get your GGs in chat. Looks like Flipheal is going to take this match and give 16-bit nerds their first win for this season of the league. GGs. Flipheal finishing in first place with an official SRL time of 1:41:34. And we're gonna just take a moment to finish watching Diesel's Ganon fight over here as well, before we bring them in for an interview. Once again, Master Sword Ganon fight. Very difficult. These runners definitely have spent some time practicing it. Once again, 12 Master Sword spins to get Ganon out of Phase 1 and into Phase 2, which is his most dangerous phase. Then 12 more spins in Phase 2 to get him to Phase 3. And Diesel is right now into Phase 2. Looks like he's gotten 2 spins off so far. So I believe Diesel still has that one fairy left, unless he grabbed another one at the top of GT that I missed. Taking it nice and slow here. I'm getting hit by those bats. Even with blue mail, those bats are doing 3 hearts of damage, I believe. Those bats spinning around Ganon, it's kind of hard to get close enough to hit him with the spin. Obviously on the left side it's easier because of the way that the bats are offset, but when Ganon goes down to the bottom, best place is usually to hit him from the lower right side. Trying to come at him directly from the right is usually going to end up with you getting hit. Lost count at how many hits he's in, but oh, he is done with Phase 2, so he is in Phase 3 right now. Just needs to hit him 4 times, and then 4 silver arrows for Phase 4. Diesel getting hit twice by those bats because of the getting frozen by Ganon's Quake. But he does have a second fairy, he must have picked it up somewhere where I missed it. Getting the torch glitch. Going for some silverless hits, at least to start with, but now he's breaking out the silver arrows. Tracker telling me that Diesel did pick up a fairy right before Lambo 2. I saw him use the powder, but I wasn't sure if he picked up the fairy or if he just or if he used the bug net for it. Anyways, these are both great runs from these runners. Please give them a follow. That is Ganon down for DieselMartini. Get your GGs in chat for him. GGs. And he finishes with an official SRL time of 1:46:12. try to get them in for an interview here. Some technical difficulties. Try to get them in here shortly. Get their thoughts on the race. I did see Flip join briefly before. As I said before, these two teams will be facing off again tomorrow at 7:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That'll be on Speed Gaming 4, and it will be between Iker, representing 16-bit nerds, versus Tyler Salt, who was our tracker today, representing the long shots. We are joined by DieselMartini here. GG's.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What did you think of the seed?
Well, gee, I don't know. There was a couple of things in there that I thought of. First of all, it was a little frustrating not having a higher sword earlier on. I'm not used to fighting a lot of those bosses on low percents, so that was interesting. I'm sure you guys saw I took a death to Mothula, and that's because I haven't practiced Hammer Moth very much, so that's something I've got to go work on. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty good seed.
Yeah, you seem to handle the swords pretty nicely. I didn't notice too much trouble. I think a lot of people would have trouble with that moth fight, so it wasn't surprising there.
Well, I'm glad it came across that way, because my heart was really pounding on some of those, especially that cold stare fight. Oh my gosh, I almost had a heart.
All right, and then I think the main difference, at least in the beginning of the seed, was that you happened to check that glove on Lumberjack fairly early. Did you feel like it gave you an advantage at that point?
Well, I was hoping it would. I wasn't sure if he was going to check it or not, but as soon as I saw it on there, I went, oh, I hope he doesn't.
Hey, I made it.
Yeah, we've got Flipheal with us as well. GG's, Flipheal.
Thank you. It was a good game. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. GG's.
Yeah, so did you have anything that you wanted to say about that glove location, Flipheal?
Yeah, it was weird because in the beginning it was kind of unfortunate. I burned all my money at Zora, and then I was gonna go to Pod, and then I farmed the money actually, and then I forgot I could go down the Hype Cave. So then when I got my boots, I was like, okay, I guess let's do boot checks before anything else, and then I was like, oh, okay. So I was a little late, but...
Yeah, but you didn't, at least you didn't go all the way into Pod first, right?
Yeah.
The rest of the scene...
Pod had the other gloves, but...
Oh, that's right. So either way would have been a good decision?
I guess. I think it worked out better, though.
Out of curiosity, was there anything up in Zora's domain or the waterfall up there? Because I skipped all those checks and the whole seed. I was, worried I should.
There was a sword. That was my actually master sword and my only other sword for the seed.
Ah, okay.
Yep, so Flipheal was running around with Master Sword fairly early, while as you had to deal with the Fighter Sword.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, where was the sword that you got?
I honestly don't remember.
It was in the map chest of Ice Palace.
Right, which that was one of my big mistakes, I think. I walked into Ice Palace and I immediately thought to myself, I should not have come here. I should have done Meyer first because I didn't know the medallion there, so I wasn't sure if I was in go mode.
Right, I talked about that briefly, but I mean, I think it's mitigated a little bit in Ambrosia because you found the 2 items in Ice fairly early on, and you didn't really have to clear out the rest of Ice, potentially looking for a medallion.
Yeah, that was nice.
I was kind of worried because I had checked Death Mountain first, or I forget the correct sequence, but I think I did Dark Death Mountain first with the mitts, and then just to be safe, I checked Catfish and I saw Ether, and I got a little worried. But then when I went to my then when I finally fluted to Meyer, I was like, I was in a better spot.
Yeah, when I walked into Ice Palace, my first thought was I should have checked Meyer before coming here to know whether I was in go mode. And my second thought was, please, please, please don't let Ether Medallion be in Ice Palace, because if it is, I would hate that.
Yeah, well, it definitely worked out. I think it was pretty clear that if Flipheal made it to Meyer first, and if we had seen Ether there, then he would have been way ahead. But I liked how it turned out with Quake. Then it just came down to who had the better execution, and it turned out Flipheal just was able to edge it out. But it was an exciting race from beginning to end.
Well, good. I'm excited to go back and rewatch it.
All right, I was not listening to audio, but I think there were some comments about the number of notifications you were getting.
Yeah, I got to figure out what's going on with that.
Yeah, I was having the same problem. I wasn't expecting that. Usually I mute or minimize MIRC and it doesn't do that, but I'll have to look into that.
Oh, I believe on your side you didn't even have any audio, so we couldn't switch over to you.
Huh.
So problems on both sides. All right, any last thoughts on this seed?
I was a little disappointed that I got Bo so early and there wound up being nothing in Eastern Palace. That hurt a little bit, but then I went down into Pod and found some good stuff there.
My small mishap in Skullwoods was kind of tilting, but because I always go to, usually I check the bridge checks before the boss, but I was like, let me just kill the boss and then come back, and then I didn't come back. And then about halfway out of the dungeon, I realized I forgot to check it. I was like, we'll just hope it's in the front, and yeah. That was awful.
And can somebody please take away Aga's blue balls? That was crazy.
How many did you have? I kind of lost count.
I didn't keep track either, but I was in the middle of the fight going, how many cycles are we going to have to go through?
Well, I know the first 2 sets were 3, so it was at least 6. I think after that he got a little more tame, but...
Oh, man. Alright, what about the match between your teammates tomorrow? Any thoughts on how you think that's going to go?
Well, obviously, I'll be rooting for Tyler Salt. I'm hoping it'll be a nice, close match just like today. Should be a good one.
Yeah, same. It should be pretty good. Ambrosia can be a little weird sometimes, but hopefully they'll get kind of a tame seed like we had. I didn't think this one was too ridiculous.
No, I thought it was pretty nice.
And the GT Big Key was nice. I've had way too many Ambrosias where they've been in tile room, so this was a nice change of pace.
Oh yeah, I grabbed that. That was awesome. Of course, then I had to decide if I wanted to look around for Tempered Sword or just climb the tower, and I ended up climbing, which I think was the right play, but that was good to have that in the chest.
Yeah, it was it pre-Moldorn chest? Had the half magic, that was nice.
Yes, I did enjoy seeing that there.
That bailed me out a little bit.
All right. What about next week, which is I believe is Enemizer week? Are either of you going to be playing that, or haven't decided yet?
I will be playing it. I haven't scheduled the match, but the other match for that week has been scheduled.
Yeah, I will also be playing next week. I'm really looking forward to it. Our team is going to be going up against Pug Trio, so they obviously have a very strong team, but I think it should.
Yeah, I can't wait for next week. All right.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'm excited for Cross Keys week. That's the most fun. Although the co-op and the spoiler races are actually kind of fun too. So should get exciting at the end.
That's right. They're all fun. we just start out tame, and then we just get progressively crazy from there. All right. Again, if you like what you see between these runners, they give on a fantastic performance. Please give them a follow. DieselMartini and Flipheal, they did a great job on this seed. Again, as I said before, the match between their teammates will be happening tomorrow, so we'll see if the Longshots can get their revenge and pull out a win. If you want some more ALTTPR League action, there may still be a race going on Speed Gaming, although that might be over. I'm not too sure. That would be against Gamachu and Willard J. Bradley. But there will also be a very late night match happening after that one's done. Again on Speed Gaming. That'll be between Fear Agent versus JP, and that's scheduled to start at 12:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. My name is Purdy Wong. Thank you to my tracker Tyler Salt, who will be playing tomorrow for the long shots, and also Marty for helping us with all the behind-the-scenes administrative stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
All right, thank you everybody as well.
Thank you.